Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I'm talking all about Bookstagram. So I asked you guys on Twitter if you wanted me to make a video about how I do my Bookstagram, like how I edit my photos and just like my overall advice, and you guys said yes, so I thought I would go ahead and do this video. I just want to say that I'm not a pro at Bookstagram in any way. I just try my best. I'm sure there are people out there who have better advice and better tips and stuff, but I just thought I would give you guys my advice and like what I think would be helpful. I guess this would be kind of a good video if you are just beginning at Bookstagram and you don't exactly know what to do. I'll also share how I take my pictures and how I edit them and stuff. Let's just kind of get started. So I wanted to first explain how long I've been on Bookstagram and stuff. So I actually started my Bookstagram way before I started my BookTube. So I started my Bookstagram back in November 2015. So almost like a full year before I joined BookTube. Bookstagram was my main like blogging social media. I didn't have BookTube at the time, so I mainly talked about books on my Bookstagram. And then I started my BookTube and I was kind of doing both at the same time, but then it just got to be a lot, so I stopped my Bookstagram for a while and then I tried to join back again and then I stopped. And then during quarantine I officially revived my Bookstagram. And I think I've been back on Bookstagram for like 2 months now, I think, and I'm really loving it. I always wanted to go back, but I just always felt like it was so much work to balance this and then Bookstagram because I put a lot of pressure on myself for Bookstagram. I like to have the perfect theme. I like to take the perfect pictures. It got to be like really consuming. It was just hard to balance both, and I just felt like I put so much pressure on myself for literally no reason. So I kind of fell out of love with it and it was more like a job type thing. So I just decided to stop and focus on my BookTube, but as I said, during quarantine I felt really inspired to revive my Bookstagram, so I did. My Bookstagram at the beginning was more like a review based Bookstagram, but now it's just kind of like I'll take pictures of whatever book and put whatever caption. I'm not super particular of how I caption my photos anymore. Like sometimes I'll do a little bit more review based, or sometimes it'll just be like happy release day or like here's a few books I need to read. I feel like my Bookstagram is finally more just like a typical actual Bookstagram. I highly recommend that everybody creates a Bookstagram. It's really fun, and why not just look at all of these pretty books. I really love it. If you think you're not adding anything new to the community, trust me, you are, because every single person is interested in different books. So you're gonna end up taking different pictures. And even if you think that you have like a similar theme to somebody else, like it's still gonna be different because you're still reading different books than everybody. Everybody adds something new to the community. I highly recommend joining. So my initial advice for joining Bookstagram is to just be active. Comment on other people's posts, like their posts, and you know, kind of build some friendships. Follow people back, discover new pages. There's so many people on Bookstagram. I guarantee you're gonna find somebody that you mix well with and that you probably will have similar taste. Because Bookstagram is not my main area where I talk about books, I don't put as much time into it. But if that is your main platform or your main social that you talk about books, then I do recommend putting the time in and just really being involved in the community. Another advice would be if you get new releases, like if you buy a book when it comes out, take a picture of it, promote it. Or if like there's a book that's super popular in the community right now, take a picture of it. Like those things are really great to help grow your page. So regarding themes on Bookstagram are kind of a big deal if you make it out to be a big deal, to be honest. I personally love my own theme. I know it's kind of basic, but I really love it. I used to feel so much pressure to have like the perfect theme, and I think that's why I often didn't post as much, and then I just kind of fell out of love with it because I put so much pressure on myself to have the perfect Bookstagram. And nowadays I don't really care as much. I do try to match it as much as I can, but I think I've been doing a pretty good job, and I personally enjoy my theme. Especially if you're just starting your Bookstagram, your theme might be kind of all over the place because, you know, you're experimenting. You don't really know necessarily what direction you want to go in. I think in general, just don't put so much pressure on yourself to have the perfect theme or to have the perfect picture. About my theme, I do have like a secret other account where I like preview my theme. I'll probably show you guys when I edit my pictures, but I actually first post it to my fake Instagram so that I can see if my theme matches or not, or if I have to add like a little bit more of different colors in the photo, or if it just doesn't flow with my theme whatsoever. I find that really helpful, but that's just because like I feel like I'm a little controlling over my theme. So maybe try that. I think there are a few apps out there that you can use to mimic your Instagram so that you can preview your themes, but I just actually have like a legit Instagram that I use to preview what my theme will look like. Regarding like tags and tagging authors and publishers, I just use like really typical tags. I use pretty much the same tags for like each photo. I'll obviously just edit them regarding what the photo is, but you don't really have to have a lot of tags on your photos as long as you like have hashtags for the books and possibly the author and the genre. Like I think you're good. Tagging authors and publishers in your photos. If you're writing a review and it's negative, do not tag the author whatsoever. Reviews are not really meant for authors, so don't tag them in it. Sometimes if I'm taking a picture of a book that I didn't really enjoy, I will not really talk about how I felt about the book. That way I can still tag the author, but I'm not really giving my opinion of the book. I do think tagging publishers is great. Publishers find new reviewers through Bookstagram all of the time. So if you eventually want to work with a publisher, definitely tag them in things and definitely interact with them as well. I don't necessarily do Bookstagram to get review copies or anything like that. I just genuinely like to take book pictures and post them. I personally only post 1 to 3 times a week. I feel like if I would post more than 3 times a week, I would get tired of it really fast. I also just don't have that much time to like constantly be taking pictures. 1 to 3 times a week works for me. I do know a lot of people that post every day and they have really successful Bookstagrams. It's really just up to you. I usually post around 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. It's just when I'm on social media, like in the early afternoon, because if I wait any later, I just forget about it. So I'd rather just post in the early afternoon. For my setup and how I take my pictures, I just use my good old iPhone. I'm pretty sure there are people out there who use an actual camera, but I think my iPhone works good enough and I'm really happy with how my photos turn out. I also do use artificial lighting. I have my box lights. My window in my bedroom isn't that big and it doesn't produce a lot of natural light. And I personally prefer cooler tone pictures, so that's why I use my box lights. I take my pictures on my plain white bed. I just like how it looks. So I guess that's kind of it for my device. Now I'm going to show you guys how I actually take my photos and how I edit them. Alright, so this is kind of like what my setup is. I have my 2 box lights over here at both kind of corners, and then I have just my white bed, and then I have my books and my phone, and I guess I'll now show you how I take the pictures. So this is just going to be kind of like a quick example, but I have my box lights right there. So I just usually take my picture from like up top depending on how I want it to look. And I think it's just important to kind of play around with how you want to position your books. You can do like all sorts of pictures. You could do something like this or, you know, whatever. I think you can also get inspiration from other people and look at other people's feeds, and sometimes it helps you get different ideas and just seeing what they're doing so that it can maybe spark some more creativity. And that's definitely what I do. I sometimes take a look at what other people are doing, and it definitely inspires me and I get more ideas. So just kind of play around with it. Eventually you'll figure out how you want your feed to look and what kind of pictures you like taking. So now I'm going to show you guys how I edit my pictures. So I use the Visco app, and I'm just going to import that. Usually I just copy whatever theme I did last, so I'll just take this picture right here and I'll go copy edits, and then I'll post it and paste edits here. That way all of my pictures will have the same edits, and for all of the edits you just go on edit, and I'm pretty sure I use the HB1 because it is kind of like a cooler toned edit, and there's a bunch to choose from. You can just kind of choose what you like. I think Instagram has pretty good filters too if you just want to use the Instagram app, but this is the one that I use. So then I just save it. As I said in the video, I have a fake Instagram where I kind of just plan my theme. So I go on that Instagram first just to test out to see if the picture will match the rest. So then I find that picture, and I usually always lighten it to about 12. And I do that for every single picture, and then done. Then next, and then I add things, but because this I'm just previewing to see if it'll match the rest of my theme, I don't do anything. It's just basically to see what my theme is going to look like. I see if it kind of matches, and it pretty much does. There will be always like one or two that is kind of off within the whole theme, and that's because some pictures turn out to be a little bit more yellow than others, depending on what the picture of the book is. Sometimes it'll just radiate a warmer tone, and like I said, personally I prefer a cooler tone, so some pictures will look a little off, but I feel like this one matches pretty well. So then I will just automatically post it to my actual Bookstagram. Sometimes I have to adjust the warmth if I'm dealing with a warmer photo and I still really like the photo. Instead of taking a new one, I will just kind of adjust the warmth. So yeah, that's pretty much it that I do for my editing. It's nothing super fancy. As I said, I'm trying not to be too much of a perfectionist with it, but I personally enjoy my theme and I think it does look pretty. So yeah, this is what my actual Instagram looks like. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how all of the pictures look. I think my theme is great. I really, really do like it. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other advice or tips and tricks that you think would be helpful, please leave them down below. And I hope that any advice that I gave was helpful in a way. Make sure you guys follow me on my Bookstagram, which is just Falling Over Books. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!